think it's another brief moment in time when we get to see the change of the tides. The shifted, twisted bit technology showcasing the little bits of safety, while the quick trips are surely randomly sparking the photons around me. Let the light flow from the heat, yo. When the photons ignite, highlighting, yo, then you know it's that time when we force a change in tides. A little bit lined with something in us. It's almost like we something else, autonomous, or maybe perhaps it's that missing piece you needin'. Perhaps it's that simple message you searching. Perhaps it's just a different time framing us for the next adventure in the mainframe. Getting excited, so are the photons. Don't laminate so we can change the coupon. Let me raise the hash rate, submit the coupon fake, and reduce the rate while we mine our major bags. Crypto technology like cryptographic money will hash in your life into a set of QRs. It doesn't matter cause it's time for 3D changes perspectives. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show.
Like one of my controllers fell off as soon as I hit the button to do that. My apologies. Welcome to the show, everybody. It is me, 3D. Whoop, whoop. Okay, so sorry, I'm still getting back in position from picking up a controller that fell. Okay. Alright, I'm a little bit disorganized, but we got it. Just like always, we are here. Now, you've probably read the title, maybe you didn't, I don't know. But, perhaps. So, today, I want to talk about, well, potentially, like, what might soon be a controversial topic, if it's not already. And then, also, I want to talk about node assistance applications. Alright. So this is like an extension from our previous conversation about like node softwares, Bitcoin improvement proposals. But this time we're going to also be looking at the BIP361. It's kind of opened up issues and may have, basically scared, I'm saying that wrong. It has opened up about issues that people have been scared about for about a decade or more. And the problems that arise from BIP 361 can actually be equally just as bad by either doing it or not doing it. It's a lose-lose situation. And there's like only a few things we can really do about this. That's the serious part about it. Alright. And then we're going to have we're going to talk about potential solutions. And I'm going to start off with, like, the most easiest solution, okay? And then in the later episode, we'll go through different solutions and different possibilities, and eventually we'll come across the hardest. Because, we can always just say things. Doing it, it's a completely different thing. So, I want to thank my partnerships and sponsorships. So, first I want to thank Deorganized for teaming up with Bitcoin Live Digital Broadcasting DB, because Bitcoin Live DB and Deorganized is a powerhouse combo. I see new heights for both organizations. Now, if you haven't checked out any of the Deorganized early morning broadcasts for stacks and other topics, well, then you're missing out, because they're taking off with every day, every morning, every evening. They seem to be growing bigger and bigger. And you can find them pretty much anywhere you see this, especially like X, Twitter, things like that, and other social platforms. Now, I do want to thank sponsor. We actually have one of those, so let's bring in the ad. So, I want to thank Shieldfolio for sponsoring today's episode from within a quantum bit, as well as Bitcoin Live TV Network. Now, if you haven't seen a Shieldfolio, well, they're like a little black book, and they're made from stone paper, so they're fade resistant, tear resistant, and water resistant. So the info and secrets you store in your Shieldfolio will actually last and survive whatever you throw at it. I personally have a Shieldfolio, and I use it for my website info, contacts, crypto keys, among other things. So these are little black books that are pocket sized, ready to be by your side, regardless of your venture, in real life or online. And I'm not joking, I actually do have one of these. I do love them. There's a bunch of stuff on their website, but basically there's a big old QR screen on your screen, big old QR. You can scan that, and it'll take you to their website. You pick up the things you need, and then you use Bitcoin Live 20 at the end, and get 20% off your order today. Now, you'll notice that there's a smaller version of that QR also on your screen, and that will stay on your screen the entire time you're here today. And, of course, that will allow you to be able to watch this later, come back, scan it with your phone or QR or on-screen reader or AI, and just automatically get going, get to where you need to, get the orders in. You use Bitcoin Live 20 at the checkout for 20% today. Now, let's roll in with the roll-ins before we roll on in. All right. Thank you again, Showfolio, for sponsoring today's episode. Okay. All right. So, welcome to the Photon of the Greater Fourth Dimension Quantum Machine. Now, the way we do this, you'll see a QR on your screen throughout the episode. Anywhere we go, you'll have a QR, and if you have a QR, you can scan it. So, that allows you to follow along or whatever. If you're on your phone or whatever, just take a screenshot and go back to it later. If you're on a computer, use your phone to take a screenshot, or your on-screen reader or anything like that. And some phones have on-screen readers where you can do that while you're watching stuff. So, I mean, like, technology, right? Okay. Now, what you're looking at right now, what's in your screen, that is the organized media. That's what I was talking about earlier. I was telling you guys, hey, you guys ought to be checking them out. I'm not joking. Every morning, every evening, they seem like they have more and more going on all the time. Huge. Check them out. Basically, it's your hookup for what's digitally popping. Check them out. So, with every episode, we do this thing where I give away a free research query. So, today's free research query is, how can someone find QPBTC wallets that are NIST approved and verified for use? Like always, I did not use this query in today's episode research, but that doesn't mean we won't have overlapping links if anything about today's episode interests you. This free research query should help you find more about it, about today's topic, basically, right? Just replay after the show, come over here, hit that little QR on your screen to jump down this rabbit hole. All right. Okay. All right, hold on. All right. So, like, for reals, like, no joke, okay? No joke. Basically, we need to catch you up on something real fast. Before we keep going, I need to catch you up, because if I keep going, you're just going to be a little lost, maybe. So, basically, this may be difficult to understand, but let me give you, like, some upfront perspectives to help you follow along. So, first off, there's a few major perspectives when it comes to quantum machines. And, I mean, these are kind of, like, basically perspectives anyone at any point in time may have. You could say they are a quantum state. So, this state goes, first off, quantum machines are actually no real threat to Bitcoin if everyone does not ever repeat the use of keys, which would mean you'd have to stop using HD wallets, because that causes reuse of some key. It's actually a public key. We've talked about this. We talked about the small amount of percentage possible. I think it's actually kind of funny that this BIP came out, like, it was literally just like a couple weeks ago. We talked about the percentage that of information that the amount of public key information that is, every time you sign it varies, but the amount of private key information is like less than 1%. And we had Grok do math and stuff, and it was like, I think it was like 100,000 things or whatever. Like, you're gonna have to go check it out. Like, it was this big, huge number to get to just 1%, of your private key put onto the chain because you accepted Bitcoin. Okay. So then the second part is, the other perspective is, quantum mechanics has the ability to generate all possible keys based on a single piece of public key data, not even your private key data, signed from a transaction. All right, so basically, what I'm saying is, accepting Bitcoin could cause you to lose all your Bitcoin. And the way you accept that Bitcoin is by signing to use it. So, Okay, let me get back to the point. All right, I'm off topic. All right, so the quantum mechanics has the ability to generate all the keys possible from your public key data, and then they're able to sign and transact with supercomputers and AI that can actually really help increase the speed rate of attempts. So then that basically can result to just accepting one Bitcoin to use it one time causes for all your connected keys to your HD wallet to just be swept instantly. Well, it will seem instantly. So then the third perspective is quantum protection requires a hard fork. And the fourth one is the last one. Quantum protection requires some fork of some kind. Many developers have a split perspective where, like, many think that quantum machines are really no threat, while the other half pretty much thinks they are a threat. So that's why, like, half of the community is basically like, no, they're not a threat. It would require some kind of fork. And the other one is like, brah, it's a threat. It's going to require some kind of fork. It's probably the only thing we can really agree on is it requires some kind of fork. So the problem there is like there's no way to determine which is actually correct. And I hate to say this, but it's an honest point. The BIP 361, it's going to explain some of it for you, what I mean by it's an honest point. But to be perfectly honest, I've actually described this many times in the past, especially with like the big Bitcoin questions we did a long time ago, like 2 or 3 years ago now. But you'd have to actually go, watch that to find out. So after this, maybe go check it. All right. So, anyways, I'm gonna repeat it anyways. Just give me a second, okay? Now that's all the context you need to know. Let's get into it. Let's get into it. Let's do this. All right. Okay. Here it is. All right. So when a controversial bit appears, healthy discourse, I object to ABC because of X, Y, Z. Unhealthy noise. Shut. You stupid. Okay. Absolute retardation. We got to kick this guy out of the ecosystem for the wrong thing. So, he's not wrong. Like, there's nothing wrong with what he's saying. This is just the start of what we're getting into. I thought I had some. Well, I guess I only have some of these zoomed in. Alright, so that was that, right? So I wanted to highlight what this guy says. So, this guy says individual economic incentives outweigh philosophical principles. You're getting a taste of individual economic incentives. People who advocating freezing other people's money should be worried about their professional and social standing. This guy isn't even arguing anything this guy's saying. Alright, this guy isn't arguing his anything. He's basically just going, dude, it don't matter. People are going to look at you different for this. The fact that I'm doing this episode shows that he's not wrong. It just shows this guy right here is 100% fucking correct because I'm doing today's episode. Okay? And he says, think you should consider another perspective. Nobody can actually invalidate anyone else's Bitcoin. However, anyone can choose to stop accepting Bitcoin transactions with specific characteristics. This is the freedom of crypto anarchy. And this, keep in mind, the second half of today's episode I was working on before all this went down. Okay? And then this went down, and I set it off to the side, and I went, I don't have time to even look at you. And then I came back, and I had time to look at it, and I thought, he's not wrong. He's not fucking wrong. I'm going to explain why. And it kills me to say it, okay? Now, this guy does say you can choose to do that, but other people can choose to ostracize you for that choice. This is the freedom of crypto anarchy. Again, that's what his original point really was like, it doesn't matter what you do, we're all going to look at you differently because what you're doing is stupid. Well, most people are going to say that, right? Okay. Do I have? I got other ones I like. Okay. Cool. So, like always, whenever we do one of these perspective things, after we've done a bunch of episodes on other people's perspectives on Bitcoin, blah, 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 we go over them a little bit. We actually look at them even just a tiny little bit, okay? So this is a lot. Basically, He's insights on security, privacy, technology, money. He's the co-founder and chief security officer of Case Hodl. He's the creator of the Bitcoin page and Satoshi Info, and he's got a website. Actually, that's the only thing I didn't do ahead of time. I didn't get that set up ahead of time. That was the only thing I wasn't prepared for. I didn't notice. To be dead honest. And we always go over here. Give a man an LLM and he'll know everything. Give a man two LLMs and he won't be sure of anything because they'll fight. The LLMs fight with each other, and they lie to you. Oh boy, did they lie to you! I'm drinking my coffee. I'm an all-day coffee goer. Yeah. So this was one of the links in his. Oh, this is his website. Okay, right. This is his website. So simple. Nothing really to see here. I mean, it basically just says a lot of the same stuff. My mission is to use my skills and technologies to build tools and empower individuals. The most direct way I believe I can achieve this at the time to make it easier for people to take custody of their Bitcoin and manage their private keys. So I have to say, like, his BIP does go along a line with his mission. We'll explain why or how that is, even though I'm not happy with. I'm not gonna say it. I'm not happy with a lot of things, but it's weird. Yeah, so this is Casa Halu. So let me see. They just have their website. I was gonna I normally show the website or whatever, but I don't. It doesn't matter. I don't. You can see right there. It's a wallet. It's your node. It's a node, and it's not just the hardware. It's the software. It's a gotta pay for it. It's all pay to use. And I say that that might not be true. I don't know the full extent. I used to know a whole lot about Casa Huddle, especially when they first came out. They've changed so much. I don't know the full extent to it anymore. But it is basically just node hardware and software. That's the best thing. Best way to look at it. Okay, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I did. Okay. So. So this is where Bitcoin.page goes. So I was like, which one was this? And it's just a section of his personal website. I used to run 3D's B2C list, and I did that for years, and without payments or donations or anything. And this, well, I mean, like affiliate links. That's it. So this used to be like a common norm or normality back in the day with Bitcoiners. And just like to have a free information page, basically, right? It would get you for information on Bitcoin resources, etc. Just what this is. Exactly what this is. It's simple stuff. All right, but he can afford to continue doing this on his page, and that's actually really cool. It does show his integrity, basically. Like, okay, he still has some integrity because he's still offering free service for people, even though he has a pay service. Search things so fucked up. All right. This was the other link. This was Satoshi.info. Okay. And this is just basically, it shows his understanding of nodes is like extremely high. I mean, like he has an entire website that he made, apparently. That is just basically node information on nodes. Statistical information. That's kind of cool, and it's live, so that's actually really cool. I mean, damn. All right, so damn boy. Like seriously, it's actually really cool. So it shows his skills. Okay, it's showing some skills. So you can see he didn't put stuff on his bio for no reason. It shows that he has like more of a tactical approach to things. Okay. Well, did not know I could zoom in on the QR code with inside the space. Like QR codes. So. This is information, right? I think you can do better than BIP 361. I encourage you to write your own BIP. Oh, my bad. If you think you can do better than Bit361, I encourage you to write your own book. Among the catastrophe and verse blah blah blah, often ignorement takes this week. A few thoughtful ideals have surfaced. Calm, rational discourse is how we improve Bitcoin. Now he's saying this because like people actually went to him, and like people were commenting and stuff on like other areas and stuff, other websites, and they had really good comments like, well, there's this and this and this, and like tons of people have like immediately told him like there's all these other options we could have done or can do, still can do, without your shit. But we'll explain his soon, and we'll see. Like, hey, I pretty much said, hey, I do this. I'm doing this more often, where I just basically let people know, hey, look, this is going to be on the show. My original comment was just because I write a bit doesn't mean it will get adopted or even attention. I wrote a bit a long time ago, like just went under the radar. I don't think it got a number. You are using your online cloud as a weapon, and you don't realize it yet, because you have too much profit behind the coin. And that's a settlement that a whole lot of people will understand, but we'll kind of try to explain it more. Alright, but I see Johnny Law, he's like, you lit the fuse, and I get that's how Discourse starts, but it was worst take I've seen from you since I've ever followed you. I was like, yeah. And you can see there's other things in here. And he does reply to a lot of stuff. So if you want to see what all he says, blah, 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 check it out after the show. Alright. So, I guess, okay, yeah. So this is what is next.
Lock you out of your transactions for any reason!
Okay.
Lock you out of your transactions for any reason! Bit361? That's a terrible Bitcoin proposal! Your node is how you make it! Run it, prune it, tweak it, tune it! Yo, somebody's starting to say, so maybe it's time to figure out better ways. Your node, your real specs, so go make them!
That's really my honest opinion is, I don't think anyone should be locked out of transacting. Regardless. I think that's just bullshit. It's my honest opinion. And that's like a very small slice of my opinion. Like, if you were to break my opinion down to just the smallest point of information, it's you should not lock anybody out of the ability to transact. I honestly think there's a lot of people out there in the world that would rather lose their coins to quantum mechanics and go, hey, Satoshi was wrong. Because everyone forgets that this was believed to be the thing that would survive or be able to survive. And it's not just the fact that the original way it was made or whatever, but the simplicity setup behind the Bitcoin process. That's why, like, when they put in Taproot, they didn't put in a new process in the Bitcoin system for scripting. They changed a single point of process to allow it. And it's a huge difference. And now we're going to actually get into the bit. So we're actually going to talk about the bit. Okay. So remember earlier I was saying the only thing that we all agreed on is that it's basically got to be some kind of fork. So this, in this case, is legacy signature sunset. It's for post-quantum migration. And it's got a handful of people written. You can see the first author, Jameson Law, shows that he's the main or primary. And it's possible that his name was put up there because he's the most well-known, but like, I know who Perry Lou is, right? I've seen Joe Ross on stuff. Ian Smith is on a lot of stuff. Anyways, let's get into it. So the abstract actually says, the proposal follows an implication of the post-quantum or PQ output type and introduces a pre-announced sunset legacy ECDSA short signature. So because like the thing is, short signature hasn't been in there for, right? the EDS, the ECDSA, it's one of the simplest ways to be able to sign. It turns PQ turns quantum security into a private incentive. Fail to upgrade, and you will encounter additional friction to access your funds, creating a certainty where none previously existed. So that small point, quantum fear, at least, like the concept that there is the ability that quantum has to just like multiplast very quickly, create all these possibilities from not even your private data information. It is uncertainty where none previously existed. Sure. That's not exactly. There's a lot of people out there that say there's no way to protect or prevent it. Like, just because we go to post-quantum signatures doesn't mean that's going to stay post-quantum. Like in the end, you're going to end up having to make the next quantum signature set, the next quantum signature set, next quantum signature set. And then after, like there's enough quantum mechanics and things, and we're able to we already can API, quantum machines. Like, there's already a quantum machine API. We've covered it before on this show. And basically, like, there's already a way to where anyone can just kind of basically like tap into quantum machines. And I honestly believe this is more towards that, where bad actors have the funds to just access those and do things other people wouldn't morally do. So there's 3 phases. The first phase is it disallows the sending of any funds to quantum vulnerable addresses. You cannot fund addresses that are vulnerable. And this is probably one of the few things where it makes some sense there. Okay, this will hasten, or this will cause a fastening of the adoption of the PQ address type, new address type. And he's not wrong there. It's not wrong. So phase B will actually render EDCSA and Shore spins valid. So it means you can sign, you can transact, you can post, you can put it into the you can even get it into a block, but that will not be a valid transaction. Okay. It basically will be wasting your money if you have it. It's also preventing all spending of funds in quantum vulnerable UTXOs. And this is supposed to be triggered by a well-publicized flag day. Now, my point about a well-publicized anything, in my perspective, especially with Bitcoin, is a red herring. Saying, oh, it's well-publicized, but it doesn't matter. Okay, Bitcoin originally was designed for people to come in and out and just have any amount of time in between, and should be able to come back and just run their original shit and get back to it. It's like, would you really want to be able? Do you really want it to where Satoshi tries to come back and is like, oh, can't do it. None of my shit work because you had a well-publicized flag day? Like, not everyone is in public. Like I honestly, I think discourse against this was happening before I even knew about it. Like, I am not one of those people that sits there even reads news and all this other stuff. So, like, this never even came across my news table or whatever the thing is that I do to pay attention to recent events. And I say recent events is for shit I do. It has nothing to do with actually going on, right? So this never came across me. The thing that actually came across me, I already showed it, it's like one of the first things that I showed, and that came across me by accident. Like, I went out of my way and found it. So, anyways, so phase 3, which is to be determined, which it makes it even worse. Like, you shouldn't have done this if you did not have Phase 3 determined and figured out. And I say determined, I don't actually mean when it will hit or release or anything like that. I mean, like, well, listen. Pending further research, a separate BIP proposing a method to allow quantum-safe recovery of legacy UTXOs. That's one of the reasons why he's saying, hey, you have to go write a BIP. Because this has been accepted or whatever, right? So, eventually, the only way to fight against this, the only way to reverse this in any manner, is writing a BIP and getting it accepted. But it's got to be a quantum-safe recovery method of those legacy UTXOs. Likely a zero-knowledge proof of possession of a corresponding BIP39 seed phrase. There might be another way. And so that's the thing, like, he doesn't actually have a way of doing this. He doesn't even know if there's a possible way of doing this. That's the part that gets me most pissed. He's like, oh, no, we need to do this, we need to do this. Is there a solution? No clue. Is there a possible solution? No clue. There's not even a real way to be able to figure out if there's a way to do that. And I do mean the quantum safe recovery part. That's the part that's going to get you. Because what determines quantum safe, right? Is it the NIST quantum safe determination? Because they do allow for like extrusion circumstances that are not specifically like diagonal determinations and stuff. Like, there's lots of things that they consider quantum safe that a lot of security researchers and security people would be like, bro, that ain't quantum safe. You know what I mean? Like, so what considers it? Or is it BIP? Is it WAP who considers it? Now, he's going to say, well, it's the community that considers it. Well, the community didn't consider this, but yet WAP's power put it into play. And I know, like, you go, oh, well, this isn't actually implemented, blah, 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 blah. It has a number. Do you know how many BIPs go out there and never get numbered? Tons. It's got a number. That's because something. So, and I'm not saying conspiracy theory, blah, blah, blah. What I'm saying is, to get a number, you have to know to do certain things. So we seek to secure the value of the UTXO set and minimize incentives for quantum attacks. The proposal is actually different from any other in Bitcoin's history. Just as the threat proposed by quantum computing is radically different from any other threat in Bitcoin's history. And before has Bitcoin faced an external threat to its actual primitives. Remember that one episode we said, oh, won't someone think of it? Yeah, that wasn't really a joke. There were people out there actually crying like that. So, a successful quantum attack on Bitcoin would result in significant economic disruption and damage across the entire ecosystem. Beyond its impact on the price, the ability to actually miners to provide network security may be significantly impacted. Okay. So he's basically saying, because, quantum mechanics, everything behind it is getting faster, the algorithms are better, blah, 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 whatever. And the main reason for accelerating this is because NIST has ratified 3 production-grade PQ signature schemes. I'm pretty sure his company already has a wallet that's using one of these schemes. Or all 3 of them. Bitcoin exposed public keys. Okay, so as of March 1st, 2026, over 34% of all Bitcoin have revealed a public key on chain. Those UTXOs could actually be stolen by an attacker with a significantly powerful quantum computer. It required more than that, but sure. It would have the significant power to produce key sets that may or may not work. You still have to go through and try it. Quantum machines cannot, unless you have a quantum network, a quantum section of the Bitcoin network that can handle quantum machines handling quantum mining on a quantum basis, well then you can't actually just take all of that quantum generated key sets and instantly use them all instantly. It does require some amount of power. That's why I said supercomputers plus AI. Because AI can actually take control over a large network, like we've seen hive mind takeovers before. Like there was that one where there was a vulnerability in the chip on the chip that handled video encoding on webcams, and there was a person they did an attack and they took over billions of webcams, including cell phones. Like some iPhones actually had that same chip, and so they took over even iPhone cameras, and they're using the processing power from that tiny little chip across all these fucking devices to do a large, major scale attack. And that's old. That's old news. That happened in like 2016 or 2018. So, private keys do become public, assuming that quantum computers are able to maintain their current trajectories, which, to be honest, they're going a little bit faster than that everything is, and overcoming existing engineering obstacles, and there's a near certain chance that all P2PK and other outputs with exposed public keys, with these P2PK private keys, can and will be found and stolen. It's impossible to know the motivations, and I think that doesn't really matter. And that's kind of the point where I was getting at earlier, where you have like quantum mechanics or quantum machines APIs, and you got supercomputer APIs, and so someone with enough money can actually string together a few different sets of APIs and do like one JavaScript call, boom. They just went ahead and scraped all of the Bitcoin keys that's ever been used in a public manner. Okay, so that's what they're really scared about. Alright, so there's a lot more stuff here. Okay, but there's rationale. Even like the rationale, in my perspective, is somewhat his own personal perspective. Like a lot of this is his own personal like point of view of the quantum space. Like I don't honestly believe other machines outside of quantum machines have the ability to be able to do what everyone's afraid of. But I do believe we will eventually one day see quantum attacks, where you have quantum machines being used to isolate down to like a single individual wallet. And that's one of the things that I think when you go, oh, these people are trying to protect Satoshi's wallets. Satoshi believes his keys and stuff are protected through signatures, and he had everything on paper, and also there's reasons to say, well, there's no reason for you to want to even try to protect Satoshi's wallet. That's kind of like an egotistical move. Okay. So I see my thing. I got a thing saying, hey, we need to catch up on deets. Okay, so now that you actually have seen what BIP361 actually is, it's about like the first step isn't the problem. The first step isn't a problem at all. Like the first step's the only thing where I'm like, okay, that's fine. Yeah, it's the second step that really is a problem. It's like one thing to refuse to accept a transaction, right? It's another to deny someone from being able to transact completely. So one of the things everyone's always said was, oh, you can just run your own miners and da-da-da-da. Okay? We're actually at a point where there are people who are going to have to do that after BIP361, where they're going to have to start running miners, and they're going to have a section within the network that might actually allow them to transact, right? But then other miners and other networks are going to go, no, that ain't right. Then we're going to have the whole like Coinbase $7 double spin thing again from like 2020 or 2019, 2021, one of those years. So it'd be something like that, where Coinbase recognizes a double spin that they made that no one else on the network recognizes. So it's just like, it's going to be like that, okay? That's going to happen. And that doesn't mean it's a chain splitting or that does not have to cause a hard fork. So that can happen all at the same time and just naturally be there. Which is creepy, but it's true. But it's like, okay, fine. All right. But it gets worse. And okay, I'm going to keep reading. Let me read my notes. I got notes. All right, so Yeah, that's my whole point. No one should cut someone else out of being able to transact. And Bit 361 Step 2 does exactly that. And there's a chance the fear of quantum, like how Lop and others see it one day will switch, will happen, and all the quantum will begin siphoning funds, rather anyone notices or not. And that's probably the scariest part, is there's a chance it can happen and no one has even noticed it. So Step 3, it may never, ever happen, right? Which is one thing I honestly think should be solved, though, before Step 1. Like, Step 3 may never, ever happen. And that's the thing that should have been solved first before putting in this BIP. Now, I will admit, there are, like it says to admit this, so there has been recently a bunch of really old wallets that have been transacting. And there's been some talk amongst forums and IRCs where people are saying, I didn't transact that shit, someone did that, blah, 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 blah. And I'm looking at some of these, and I'm like, oh, bro, you used a green wallet to start your initial key, and then you made a key from that, most likely. And green wallets were completely banned at one time because they're just a brain wallet, and they were, like, really bad wallets. Like, you can predict them. Like, there was a person who's already done key sweeping on specific types of wallets because they were completely vulnerable. And we banned that wallet. And I think LOP is thinking into that direction. Now, the last time the green wallet got banned, the original green wallet, not the one you can get nowadays, when it got banned, it was a community-decided ban. Like, you can still go out and make a green wallet. There actually have been hardware wallets that have been produced that use green wallet technology, but they use the brain wallet version, which is slightly better, but it's still not the same as the one that got banned. And so, all right, go back to my notes. All right, so I have to admit that I admitted that. All right. Okay, so secondly, even a 5-year window is too short because Bitcoin was designed around like being able to just exit and return whenever one pleases. It's upon their choice when they come and go. So there's a chance someone could be away for like 10 years and lose out on the points to exit their coins from their wallet. Like, they could have lost their chance, basically, right? And then the solution of Step 3 might not ever happen. So, like, honestly, there's people at that point would probably rather lose their coins to quantum than a Bitcoin proposal that most people really don't have a way to decline. Like, that's the problem. Like, there's not a whole lot of ways to decline this, right? The only thing you can do is just beat against the grain and hope every block you go into eventually gets blocked. And so, honestly, the only way to like really decline this in life is not to set up your own node. Like, it's to set up your own node without the BIP31 standard. Is to like purposely design your configuration file and stuff to work against it. And then basically that begins an on-network fight. And then eventually, like, the second step of BIP361 could cause a hard fork, where you have a bunch of people who want these blocked, and then their blocks get, like, cut off or whatever. But one of the things that I don't think we have to worry about is, like, if the got blocked in a block, would that block get removed or whatever? No, most likely that block would stay for the next one. And then just like it'd be a lot of people just would never get blocked. You'd have a lot more meme pool, stagnated meme pool. Like, there's times where the meme pool pretty much gets cleared, but there would be that would stop. You would just have like this bit on there that would never get cleared. And that amount would slowly grow. So it's a lot of information. I didn't put caps, and I lost my spot. So it basically, it's like, where am I at? Okay. So I was in the middle of the sentence. That's why I couldn't find it. So a quantum hard fork where people can switch over to like the QP standard, whatever. Like, at the same time, like, this would probably be like a great way, blah 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 blah. But like at the same time, it wouldn't lock people out of their main, whatever. But it once you get onto that chain, it would lock you out of something, right? So it would still be a lockout of some kind. And then there's another problem on top of that for that one. And I think a lot probably knows this bit is like many people wouldn't switch over. If you had like a QP only version of the chain or whatever, most people wouldn't switch. Look at Lightning Bitcoin. Still fighting to have a real ground to stand on, even though so much has changed with it. It's actually a real like, currency thing. I don't think it's just completely BS. It actually has real use case and this other stuff, and it's still having a really hard time getting people on there. And it's still not Bitcoin, right? That's the other thing. It's still not Bitcoin. And so if there was a QP hard fork, that wouldn't be Bitcoin. And then none of Lop's business and everything around the fact that his business is on Bitcoin, none of that would be true anymore. It wouldn't be about Bitcoin. It'd be QP Bitcoin. And then that wouldn't be good for Lop and his business. So you can kind of see kind of quick how doing everything you can to not cause a hard fork to have QP protection or quantum protection is really important for him. Like, dead serious. It's really important for him. He really wants you to make a BIP to do his phase 3 because, kind of put himself in a corner there. Kind of put himself in a corner with that phase 3. Because it has to be quantum secure. Alright. So, you can, okay. Let me find out where I'm at. You can think that this is all shit from me to reference Lop's business of node hardware and software, but it's like obviously a huge factor in why Lop would even be motivated to do something like this, I believe. And I commented on Lop saying that I think this is him using his online cloud as a weapon, right? I don't think Lop can even see it. Honestly don't think he even sees it at all. And even if Lop is wrong, quantum never takes over Bitcoin, Lop wouldn't even feel bad about putting people out of their Bitcoin by preventing a transaction because he put a glimmer of possibility someone might figure out a solution to the problem that his BIP361 actually causes. And in reality, it's actually even less than that. He really actually wouldn't feel bad. He wouldn't even notice. He would just say, well, it hasn't happened yet. And he would just be one of those people 1,000 years later going, well, it hasn't happened yet, bro. It just hasn't happened yet. It just hasn't happened yet. And then if his BIP361 goes with you and someone figures out a way to do the thing that he doesn't know how to do, that no one really knows how to do, well, guess what? Then he'll say, oh, it doesn't matter. We fixed it. Solved. It'll never happen. But then here's the other thing. It could still happen. BIP361 could do all this crap, could cut people out, blah, 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 blah. And then quantum machines the next day could just take all the fucking money. All of it. Because that's the power of quantum. And that's the bit that makes everyone fight so much about it. It's so broad possibility that, well, we don't actually know if quantum resistance is resistant to the quantum. Because by the time quantum machines has the power to do the things we're talking about, well, the quantum resistances we have don't have any match or result against it. It really is just a person with power showing that they have power. That's what BIP361 is. It's kind of like when so many in the ETH community said no to ETH 2.0, right? For years, a lot of people kept going, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. There was a small minority of people, like outside the miner group. Outside the miners, yeah, sure, there was a bunch of people outside the miners that were like, let's do it. Almost all the miners were like, don't fucking do it, right? But then when the right financial influence found the main dev behind all that tech on ETH 2.0 came out real fast. Really, really fast. So at this point, you're probably wondering, what all can one do? Okay, basically, we're in the second half of the show, people. If you came here in the beginning and you kept hearing me say the second half of the show is a bit different from the first half of the show, we're in it. So, what can you do at this point, right? Let's make a small list. Right? First off, you can set up your own node to exclude 361, which actually would take a little bit of work to do. Or whatever BIP you wish to fight against, right? You can write your own BIP to actually fight against this BIP directly. You can write your own BIP to figure out phase 3. you can petition to get node operators and miners to begin the actions to actually fight against BIP361 on the network. You could do nothing and just hope that PQ wallets, that you have a PQ wallet. And you just have to hope that, you don't miss the guidelines and you're able to do all the things and you figure it out. Okay, 4 or 5 or 6. Actually, I have multiple of the same numbers. I lost point where I'm at. The last thing, you can figure out basically how to use the internal tools of Bitcoin to bypass 361 or any other BIP you're unhappy about. Because we've already covered once how BIP 110 potentially can be bypassed that way. So obviously, we might go do the same thing in a different way, in a different manner, but in the same construct to do it again with BIP 361. So, let's call it history. Okay? I had this stupid idea. It's a stupid idea. And I say stupid because, it really is not the smartest of ideas. It's just made silly. Like, this would be dumb, right? This would be fun type of idea. Delta calculator. Calculator that allows you to go from now or a point in time to some other point in time based on some historical delta. So, okay, so there's a bunch of little things here you can check out, blah, 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 blah. Okay. I have it running locally. You just run it locally. Okay. So, we have a couple of things like auto-selected, like these are things that auto-select at the beginning. So the time frame between human computers and the first machine computers, okay? So like 1958 to 1969. This is when we're talking like humans were computers at one time, okay? And it only took about 10 years of humans being used to get humans in space to a machine getting us on the moon. The first machine computers to the first AI that writes its own code. 54 years. The first LLM to the first AI. Now, I honestly thought this was the other way around, but then when I was doing the research and stuff, like, I wanted to pick like the first like full AI, so something that does LLMs, something that does a bunch the old stuff. It can do more than one thing. 7 is your option, and it was just like the first one that popped in, right? So the first one was 5.8 years, by the way. So corrective baseline. So this is a baseline based on the limited scope of like human to machines, right? So I did this thing where it's like, okay, if you took the construct that we're using, humans as computers and then to machine, and we also took the baseline of like, okay, how long did we go from like humans doing certain tasks to machines doing certain tasks of similar, and well, it's about 10.8 years. So it ends up being like the exact same amount. It's basically like turning off this one thing is the exact same thing. So turning this off, it's the same. That turning that on is the same as turning this off. So this and this being on at the same time cancels each other out, but not completely, because this is done over an average while this is done directly. So then we have all these other ones we can go through, and I'm going to go ahead and select this one way down here, which is quantum correction. So we're going to turn on quantum correction, and then we're actually going to come over and we're going to turn on quantum mechanics. So the quantum network milestones, 3 years. The quantum error correction breakthroughs, 3 years. First physical quantum computer to quantum supremacy. Now, that's probably not the best terminology to use, but that means that they were able to get a full qubit up and running and got full access to the power of the qubit, basically. 21.8 years. Okay. And what's this one? Which correction is this? Ultimate correction. Yeah. Turn that one on. Now. So from right now, it would be potentially 2110 before quantum machines have full control over networks in general. And it gives you information and stuff. So, that's it. Cool. So that's all this does. Now, this was like one of those things that gave me an ideal. It made me go, oh, that's a cool thought. Blah, blah, blah. And so that ideal took me to the thought, right? So hold on a second. We got another one of these to play for you. Now that you saw that delta, let me show you this.
Hey, it's your node. It's your.
I don't know why they keep doing
that. Hey,
it's still just as loud. Oh, I'll get it. I had them, but I don't know what happened to the audio. I guess because like maybe earlier something refreshed.
Hey, it's your node. It's your node. Use it how you like. Run it. Bitcoin is how you use it. Treat your node the same. It's your node. Use it how you'd like to. Run it, prune it, tweak it, tune it. It's yours, so use it how you want to. Treat your node the same. Use it how you like to. Hey, use it how you want to. Never know. Use it how you like to. Run it, prune it. It's yours. Use it how you want to. That's your node, your rule. Hey, it's your node.
And that's what I really think about it. It is your node. You can actually use it how you want to. And if you ever remember the J.G. Wentworth stuff, that's where that phrase comes from. You know, it's your money, use it when you want to. Well, it's your node, use it how you want to. Well, there's a way to do that. The simplest, easiest way to do that, because if you ever coded a node, it ain't exactly easy. All right, there's a lot of stuff you got to think about. And even if you think about all of it, you might not actually be able to figure it out. It can be quite difficult. So the next alternative is the ability to program or an application that runs alongside it. Okay, so that's running an application alongside of it. Heck yeah, that's not difficult, right? That sounds like an easy thing. So basically, a node assistant application to assist, to help, basically you, the node operator. This one specifically, the one I'm showing you right here, is for working with offline working machines that use Bitcoin. So this is, I have more than one application already. This is, I think, the second one for sure, where it's designed to run with your node, and then it sets things up for you. And this one right here works with the data from your node, so like you can get it set up to where they both at the same data point, and your node saves your historical data to a certain point, and then this one reads from that certain point, and then you're able to do things. In this case, this one was originally designed to just simply predict when the next block might happen. And from there, it's been expanded. Okay? Yeah, so it's just a simple app. It's in Python. It's not, you know, it's just simple, like quick sync, full sync, refresh, right? There's some estimations, there's some considerations and predictions being made. Now, keep in mind, I don't have a lot of these prediction things set up where they're working very well. I think the only one that's really working like the best or the perfect, or like how I like it, is the block prediction system, which it predicts, like you can give it a block number and it'll predict it when it might land in the network. It also predicts the drift, like the ultimate drift. That's the Satoshi drift, basically. Like there is a vision of every 10 minutes. Has it been every 10 minutes every time? And if you took the time difference of all the times it's not 10 minutes, what value do you get? So things like that. Basically, we're gonna just run it real fast. Just gonna go ahead. So you can see, I'm just gonna pop it up now. Okay, something I didn't think about. It's on my notes, but I don't think I have any notes on this one. I just have to do. Yeah. So now you're actually looking at the that's live running. And the program is just like the showcase thing. It's just sliding. It's scrolling as it goes. So we can eventually see it all. So you can see it's got cache blocks. It's got this drift thing. So right now the chain is like 253 days ahead of expected Satoshi. Satoshi drifts. It's 253 days off. There's a BTD, which is like the block time difference. So there's an average of 3 and almost 4 minutes variance between block to block. And the last block difference was 4 minutes and 30 seconds. So between the last two blocks, there was a difference of 4 minutes and 30 seconds. Of like how much time difference between them. So like it's supposed to be 10 minutes, but not always. In this case, it was under 10 minutes. So then you can see there's a chain coverage. So there's an amount of chain coverage. Like this is in this case, I'm testing slow drip feed. So this is done all for free. Like all the syncing right here, this 1.2% has been done completely for free. So it's non-verified data basically. But you can see there's a quick sync button, there's a full sync button, there's a refresh. The ATC notebook just shows you what you have. You guys can't actually see it because it's in a completely different type of display. If I go like this, and I go, now you guys can see it. And you can see it does have some incorrect information. It has an incorrect price. Price is the only point that I've been getting from a API. It's a free API, by the way. That has sometimes incorrect information. A lot of times there's correct information, but not always. And yeah, I got 227 pages of this, okay. And I'm only like 1.2% into the chain. Let me put that back up on the screen. So then we have like a live notebook. We have all these other little things. Like a live notebook actually just shows you basically the same data. Like it shows you the predictions that this system has actually made. It just shows you what those predictions actually are, and what they were. You can build a curve rate and stuff to figure out what's going on. You'll actually see that here in a minute. There's a math button to show you what maths are being used. There's data settings. There's a bunch of settings for stuff, right? And then as we're scrolling down, you're actually starting to see that there's a difficulty adjustment prediction. There's estimated hash rate, estimated price. So there's a bunch of little things in here. And as you see, like the estimated price and stuff's not accurate. Okay. I think the next difficult adjustment is somewhat accurate. Estimated transactions are somewhat accurate. And then ounce is actually just some random ass number, bro. And then potential winning ounce, we just add link to it. And then the hash rate per price is sometimes sometimes it seems accurate. At the moment, it's way inaccurate because the estimate price is wrong. The estimated hash rate is somewhat decently accurate right now. It tends to get really far off. But one of the ways this works is the longer you run it, the more accurate it sort of becomes. So the more data I get behind it, the more accurate it should become. But then it gives us like live real data. As we see, our price API is not working at the moment. So we don't have a price for the current block. I don't think we even are at that. Like if I hit quick sync, we'll be at the current block. No, we got 41 blocks to catch up on. Let's stop that real fast. I don't want to stay here for how long it takes to actually do that for free. Catch up on 41 blocks for free. But we did get the very last blocks. We see price about $76,000. It's gone up in price. We can see the estimated price actually was adjusted because it got a new data point, a new price, current price, and then we got some more information, including the hash. So we can say, okay, when is block 100,000 going to be? Let's predict that. Looks like 4/2/2027 potentially. So if I go like 999,666, and I hit predict, maybe March of next year. Yeah, so like quite a ways away. And then like simple little things. It's still slow. Oh my gosh, you gotta go. Hold on a second. I can make this. So you now you can see it actually has a display. Now there's more to it than just that, like way more to it than that. I'm going to close that off. I'm actually going to shut that down. Yeah, shut that down. So here's the files. Let's go to the predict file. So we actually see that we have files made. Like there's a live Bitcoin file, there's a temp file, predict file, Bitcoin chain, the logs, crumbs. So there's actually files that it's using to handle a bunch of things. So cool. So we're doing it in a somewhat smart manner. Blah, 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 blah. Not really, right? That part doesn't matter. It's just that it's using a unique filing system to handle its coordination and things like that, right? So okay, went out. Cool. And so like for me, for the longest time, because like for the longest time, it just predicted the drift, or it gave me the drift. It predicted the next block, and it predicted when a block might happen. But now it's trying to attempt to do more, and the ideal behind this is like, well, like I said, this is the second one I have, and it's all about just data, right? The other one does something else, so. Okay, hold on. I'm going to double check my notes before I go on to the next thing. Because the next thing is going to give you the next thing. Whole thing, 99.9% of it at least, is Grok made. This has been the only conversations, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, well, like 6 or 7 different chats about this. And there's a reason why I let you know that. Even Lop says, AI coding tools don't reduce the need for developers. Rather, they rebalance how developers spend their time for maximum productivity. He's not completely wrong there. So, I don't actually know how to code Python. It's a coding language that I just don't seem to be able to understand. I keep trying, I don't get it. So Python is a simple method, though, for getting programs functioning across platforms, fast and quickly, though. So Grok, in expert mode, can actually code Python. And I used Grok to code it and bug it, but I'm also used to, like, when I do bug hunting for my coding myself in JavaScript, I don't use the console. So I'm used to just using the program, figuring out what's wrong, and then figuring it out what's wrong. So that's just how I already do, so I'm already used to doing like this. I don't normally use the console logs or anything like that. I'm just kind of a guy. I tend to code against the grain. And so I'm going, and I'm basically using Lop's words, right? And I believe that I'm just like starting to build more. I'm just starting this, right? Starting to build more of these assistance programs. So maybe one day I'll have Grok actually write the next major Bitcoin node software. I'll just keep making stupid fun stuff that maybe few will use until then. Because it's, yeah. Alright, so, okay, now it says here, we're going to show you the next one. Well, the first one. I guess this was the first node assistance program I made. Yeah, well, technically, had Grok made. Okay. So I have to really say this. These are hypothetical concepts. Okay? Especially this one. The one in front of you. Super hypothetical. Alright? The one in front of you is the hypothetical concept of using Tapleaf to hide data into a considerably proper signature that looks like a multi-signature. Like, looks like someone's signing a multi-signature. So I have to say, it's 100% hypothetical. So we're going to load it. Probably saw a bit of it there. So this is the hypothetical ultimate Bitcoin vault. Again, I have notes. So it's a 100% hypothetical program. I cannot even verify that this actually works as intended. Can't possible. Well, it's not. It's just I don't want to spend the money to verify it yet. Like maybe one day I might actually go through the steps and process to see if this actually does do what it says it does. We will cover this on another episode, and basically this allows you to take entire media hashes and turn them into cold stored onto the blockchain. This also allows you to use like IPFS with the blockchain in a manner where you can even like directly pin stuff into Bitcoin blockchain using the Bitcoin blockchain as a database for a database or your pictures. It doesn't fucking matter. And a lot of this is built on this ideal of using a tap leaf multi-signature round robin to make a keychain that is a smaller and simple and fairly capable of being used. So like even this even keeps track of your pointer size because it's BIP 110 compliant. This allows you to basically build all this stuff, even like the full base 64 hash. You can just put it all on chain. And the way this works, so I got no phone. I can only say that the construct is solid enough for Grok to be able to make a Python program around the ideal and uses maths that should do the job. But until someone actually spends the time, energy, effort, and coin, we'll never actually know. Keep in mind, this method will hide your media as a web-based hash in a method that is not even an actual file, but sections of random bits that can be recorded and manipulated into a base 64 media hash, which is an online media type, which can be played in most browsers older than 2009. Okay, so I'm not actually going to go over any more than that. That was the most you guys are getting out of it. Okay. Alright. Okay, hold on. We're going to do this, catch you guys up one more time thing, because that's what we were doing last time, right? Catching you guys up. Okay, so let's be honest. The ideal behind BIP361 is not a bad idea, right? But this is being done in a shit manner. Honestly, blocking transactions from wallets is not the same as just refusing to accept transactions from wallets. And BIP361 Step 2 is 100% a form of censorship. However, I do believe there is enough internal functions and systems within Bitcoin presently that there should be a way to fight this BIP and allowing it to follow through. Like you don't have to fight the BIP and it not go through. You can fight the BIP and it still go through, and you can still fight it. Okay? So just like the last episode when I covered that PC Media Vault, the one you just kind of saw, we actually covered it last episode. That's using like a round keychain technique to hide the hash by layering it on top of itself, and then signing like a nested keychain verification with even like a one-time payable view key. So someone could actually pay into the media like a wallet to get an allowance to view actual last bit section of the keychain to actually view the media. Like that's hidden, right? So you can actually view it one time. So something a bit more than just modifying a signature hash to be valid but improper. And then this is like it's actually a series of proper sets of wallets that have a manipulatable outcome to get the desired series of bits that, when placed in order and with your tongue in like just the right corner of your mouth, a browser will recognize the random bit string as an online media file. This is a hypothetical, but even a hypothetical ideal that can be coded, okay? It's a codable ideal. So if it will work, time shall see, right? And even if it doesn't, just like when I showed the early blockchain, like on another episode we showed like early blockchain technicians writing to the chain for the first time, right? It took some time. Even a blank space or single character was successful at the time when it's just a start.
So it's just like getting past the first thing to get to the next thing to get to the next thing, and slowly makes a difference. So let's take this one step at a time. We got like 5 years or so to make this and figure this out. All right, before we need 5 years or so to actually figure out the solution before this trap hits. It's kind of like, let's get to work. And honestly, it's kind of what I believe. We got work in front of us. We got things we're going to have to do. We're going to have to do them. And that ain't nothing wrong. It's just kind of shit this guy made us get to it early before pretty much anybody was really, I don't know anybody who was ready for this. I don't know anybody. But no one was ready for Bitcoin when it came out either.
Yo, did you think you know? Did you think you hold? Did you think something new? That's the goal, to see from a new degree and get the change your mind needs to find something new. Life suddenly is easy for many, but when a wall appears, sometimes up is all you see. So let 3D guide to the side, yo, where there's a door though. Just be careful on your way out, for the first step is a do-si-do. A little bit Linus with something different, it's almost like he's something else. And regardless of maybe, perhaps it was that missing piece you was needing. Maybe it was that simple message you was searching. Definitely it's just in different time for defraying our mental mind state, separating us from our own mental mind tank. Boom goes the blast of thought. Boom goes the last spark with part. Boom goes the mental mind tank. Don't your perspective hit on the way out. Don't let your directive stop you when you doubt. Don't let the dire detection stop you from being getting excited, so the photons are delighted. Don't hesitate so we can line up the hash rate. Let me surmise the time, submit the rate, and reduce the face while we mine our major bets. Crypto technology like cryptographic money, while hashing your life into a set of QRs. It doesn't matter, cause this was 3D changes perspectives. Thank you for joining the show. Please return next time for a new roll of perspective. Thank you for joining the show. Please return next time for a brand new perspective. Of perspective. Thank you for joining the show. Please return next time for a brand new perspective.